everyone, my name is Sarah, and this is a very long, delayed episode 31 of Sarah's Creative Corner, just my little corner of the internet where I talk about all the crafty, creative things that I've been up to recently. And this one is very overdue. As I've said, I haven't recorded since January. I will chat about that a little bit as to why, but during that time I finished a whole bunch of stuff, so I'll basically just chat about all the things that I finished, and then I have a few things that I'm working on and a couple acquisitions. So and then yeah, that's really it. But the first thing I'll talk about is what I'm wearing. This is just like a self-drafted dress that I made a couple years ago from some fabric from Joann's. Just a rectangle that was shirred and made into a dress. But yeah, so the biggest thing I will say is that it has been a very long few months, I would say. I had a whole bunch of tests right at the end and beginning of the year, and that pretty much burnt me out of knitting for a hot minute. I didn't really knit a lot of stuff for a little bit, and then I was really tired and everything, but yeah. And the reason I have been tired, or was tired at one point, and everything's okay now, is that I am expecting a baby. My husband and I are expecting a baby in September, and that'll actually be the first whip, or the first FO that I will talk about, is I knit the baby a little sweater. If you guys are familiar with EKF, Explore Knits and Fibers, this is There to the Stars Who Listen, and I knit the 0 to 6 month size of the Flax Light by TinCanKnits. So this is what I did. I did a little bit different. Instead of doing the garter stitches on the sleeves, I just left it plain, and then to kind of make it a little bit feminine because we're having a baby girl, I just added some eyelet increases at the raglan instead of just like normal raglan increases. And yeah, this was the first baby knit so far, and I have another one on the needles, but we'll see how many I get done. It is approaching now, but hopefully over the summer we'll have a little bit more time and energy to knit. But yeah, making a baby has been very difficult, very tiring, but outside of that, it has been kind of nice to have some peace and quiet with just family a little bit and kind of process everything. So yeah, this is the first finished object, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's a 0 to 6 month size. I think I just used the recommended needle size. I might have added just like a little bit of length to the body and the sleeves, because who knows how big she'll be, and then it'll also give her a little bit more opportunity to wear it and not grow out of it immediately. But yeah, that's really it. Yeah, very happy with it, and I have a lento in this colorway, so we will be matching this fall and winter. So that is the first finished object. I'll kind of go back to what you have seen before a while ago. I finished my G Street sweater test way back when, and this is a sweater by Briana Lupino, the Little Wolf Knits, and it is knit up in Woolberry Fiber Co. I think it's Frosted Juniper and something else. The 2 different colors, and it's just like a garter sweater. I'm pretty happy with it. I did a little bit of modifications just in like the lengths of things. And then the only other modification I did for the test is I did the short rows in the sleeves a little bit differently, where instead of knitting and then purling, I was purling and then knitting, just to make sure that I got like a nicer finish on the sleeve cap, and I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't wear it too much this winter, but because I feel like by the time that I finished it, it was starting to warm up, or I didn't really need a fuzzy sweater. But yeah, I was pretty happy with this test. I like the long ribbed cuffs, and I'm pretty happy with like the dimensions and everything. And I think that's something that I've been starting to work on more, is trying to figure out what dimensions and like lengths of everything that I like, and slowly starting to get those numbers down. And I think I test knit the size 4, and yeah, other than that, pretty happy with this one as well. All right, I'm just gonna put everything over here that I've talked about, and then got some dog hair on some of my FOs. The next one is the DK weight socks I was working on for my husband. This would be, I think, pair 1 of the 4 that I wanted to work on for his Christmas advent. So you can see I haven't woven in all the ends, but this is a sock set that I got from Woolberry Fiber Co. And then, as you can see, I ran out of yarn, and this is a contrast color from a Homespun House, one of the like Patreon sock sets. So I just finished the toe off. He's not really gonna care. He's not that picky about his socks. So yeah, this was, I think the main color is chip. I think I've talked about it so many times. I don't remember what this one's called. And yeah, I think I did 48 stitches. I followed the pattern from Crazy Sock Lady, and I just did the second size. And yeah, pretty happy with it. I don't know where the first one went, but the pair's done. And then speaking of socks that you have seen, I also finished my Regia socks. Again, I don't know where the other one is, but I finished this one. Pretty happy with it. And something that I am starting to do with my socks is I got I think it's the Lang Ya Wool. It comes with a spool of like reinforcement thread, and you can just get the reinforcement thread on its own. So that's something that I've been doing, is just adding the reinforcement thread for the heel, and I think it's kind of thickening the heel a little bit, which I like, because I find sometimes if I just use the fingering weight yarn, it seems just a little gapey at the heel. So hopefully that kind of will mitigate that a little bit. And for this one is for me. I knit 60 stitches, 20 rounds for the cuff. I might have done I think this was a shorter sock, maybe like 40 or 45 rounds for the leg, and then however long for the foot. And yeah, pretty happy with it. I think I like this length for socks, but again, trying to figure out what lengths and dimensions I like for my items. But yeah, that is the next thing that I finished over the past few months. And then I have 3 more pairs of socks that I finished. None of the, well, actually, you have seen one. This was a test that I did, but I only needed to do one sock. That was the Impasto sock by Bridget Zhou of BZB Knits. This is the first one that I finished for the test. And then just a few weeks ago, maybe like last week, I I've been going through my whips and trying to finish them off. So I decided to pick up this lingering second sock, and I finished the second sock. So I knit the second size in this, and it comes with cuff down and toe up with like Flegel heel instructions. And I knit the second size using US 1.5 millimeter needles. That's what I use for all my needles, or all my socks. And yeah, that is what this guy looks like. This is the Stone Fruit sock set by Woolberry Fiber Co. I think it's Stone Fruit is the main color. I can't remember what the contrast color is, but it was something like Barbie themed or something. It came out, this sock set came out that summer that like Barbie and Oppenheimer were released. So yeah, for this one I did not do that reinforcement thread. I wasn't really sure how to go about it since the Flegel heel, it's like a longer construction, but that's okay. I don't know if I'll knit a Flegel heel again. It's not my favorite, but we'll see. Don't knock it till you try it. But yeah, that is the next pair of socks that I finished. And my whip pile back here is slowly, or FO pile is slowly increasing. And then back in February, I think February, I ordered some yarn from Nomadic yarn, and I got it in the mail, and I finally cast on my first pair of striped socks in a while. I have not knit striped socks because I didn't really think I liked them, but now I think my mind may have been changed. So I got this yarn from Nomadic Yarns. This yarn is called, or this colorway is called Out of the Woods. It's on her Brit sock base, and I think that's a BFL nylon. So yeah, this is my second pair of socks for my husband. They seem to have gone pretty smoothly. I think I did 20 rounds and then 60 rounds, and then however long for the foot. And as you can see, I did the reinforcement thread on these socks as well. Nothing crazy. They're just vanilla socks. I was tempted to do like an afterthought heel or something to kind of break up, to keep the stripes going. But I also like how where the heel is, it kind of does this little tiny stripe. Does it on both socks. So I'm not complaining. But yeah, second out of 4 socks for my husband done, and I may be a striped sock convert. It was kind of cool and fun to see the next color coming up because it was like about every 4 rows. So it was very potato chippy, as they say. So that is this pair. And then the last pair of socks that I worked on, I'm not sure if I had ever shown this sock set in a different podcast as a different sock. So this is the, I think it was called Woolen Folk, whatever the sock, whatever the pre-Rhinebeck event that did not go well from 2 years ago. This is the sock set for that from Botanical Yarns. I ordered it online after everything. And yeah, I originally was knitting, I think it was called the Cozy Autumn sock, but it only had 2 sizes. Pattern wasn't really intuitive. So recently, in my endeavor to knock down all my whips, I decided to just frog the entire sock, or maybe like half a sock. I didn't really get that far, I don't think. Actually, I might have gotten past the heel. Whatever. And I decided to cast on a pair of socks from, I think her Ravelry Sock Witchery. And these are the Thursday night socks. And this was like a very addictive pattern to do. I think I might have finished one of these socks in like a week or something. So yeah, if you are looking for a simple pattern, but something that's a little bit more engaging than a vanilla sock, I think this would be right up your alley. But yeah, very happy with this pair. It's a pair for myself, and I did the reinforcement thread on these ones. And this sock set came with a second mini. It's kind of like a mustardy yellow, but I wasn't really feeling putting two different colors on it, so I just used one mini, and I still have 3 grams left or so on it. So yeah, pretty happy with this pair. So I've done a lot of socks, or at least finished the second sock on quite a number of pairs recently. And then something that you have seen but have not seen in a while is my Uptown tee. It's a little wrinkly because I've worn it, but I finished this as well. Pretty happy with it. This is the Uptown tee. She also has a pullover by Tori Yu, and I knit the 4th size using size 3 and size 5 needles, and I am very happy with it. For the I-cord bind offs for the sleeves and the bottom, I just did I just used the I-cord maker from Size Inclusive Collective, and I actually really like the tension that it made. I left it at work one day and just bound off regularly with with my needles with the I-cord, and I found it to be like too loose, but the I-cord maker makes it like the perfect tension. I don't know how it does it, but I really liked it. So that is this one. I knit, size 4, and this is Life in the Long Grass. They're like a silk merino base. I don't think they dye this base anymore, but it's the silk merino. It's like 50-50 in Garden Party, which I think is a colorway they still have, but just not this base. And yeah, very happy with this. And I didn't alternate skeins at all. You can kind of see where the skeins are different, but I think overall they look pretty cohesive. Like, I don't think there's like a big difference. I think the top half is more blue and bottom half is more pink, but that's kind of more on camera than in person. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, very happy to have this one off the needles as well. All right, and last finished object, something I don't think you have seen at all, and that is a shift cowl. This is the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry. I guess it's just called the Shift, but there's like different iterations, and this is the cowl version. And yeah, got some foam on it, and very happy with it. I used Feederbrook Farms that I got at Rhinebeck this past year, so pretty happy to have some yarn that I got at Rhinebeck knit through, and yeah, very happy with it. No notes, just it's really good. It's my first finished mosaic item, and I think this would have been a good one to start off with rather than the pressed flowers that's still hibernating. But yeah, I think this is really approachable. And I also did the I-cord bind off for the back using the I-cord maker, and thought it, wherever the bind off is, thought it did a really good job, and the tension was really nice. So yeah, very happy with this one. And that concludes all of the finished objects I have over the past like 5 months. So I've done like a lot, but also not a lot of knitting over the past few months. I've really only finished a cowl and 2 pairs of socks, maybe three pairs of socks. And that was really more in the past like month or two. So that's all the things. All right, and now we can go ahead and get into my whips. I have 3 that I've been working on. 2 kind of more actively, and then 4 in total, something like that. I have 4 that I am kind of more actively working on, and I have a whole bunch that have been hibernating for a while. So let's go ahead and talk about my first whip that I've been kind of touching recently, and this is one that you have seen before. I don't know if you've ever seen it finished, but this is the Night and Day cowl by Andrea Mowry, and this will be the 3rd time. Hopefully 3rd time's a charm. And I am knitting, I think, the large size. I can't remember what I decided. But yeah, knitting it on size US 6 on my Indian Lake artisan needles. And I'm hoping that knitting it on the wooden needles will kind of help with my gauge issues. It seems like my row gauge is off, but my stitch gauge is okay. I'm not sure, but hopefully 3rd time's a charm. I really like the pattern. I really like the yarn. So we shall see. I think I'm about halfway done with it now. Maybe I can get some good progress this weekend on it. And I'm knitting it in Ruby and Roses on her Rustic Rose base in DK. And the pink is Anemone and the gray is Typewriter. So hopefully soon you'll see this finished and me be happy with it, because I have not been happy with it recently. So that's the first work in progress. The next work in progress is one that I cast on last night, just kind of on a whim. I felt like I wanted to cast on something new, even though I didn't really need to. And that is a Yoon sweater. I have been wanting to make the Yoon sweater for a while. It's also on my Make 9, like either the regular or the light. So I finally cast it on. And this is what I have so far. I cast on the collar. I'm knitting size 4. I'm going to be using the recommended needle size, which is US 7 and 8. So yeah, this is what I have. I'm marling 2 yarns together. Tell me if you like it. I can't tell if I like it. I think this is probably the most color accurate I have gotten it. It kind of reminds me of like chocolate covered strawberries a little bit, with like the brown and the red. So I'm holding 2 strands of Newton in Talmudig. I can't remember how to pronounce it. And then 1 strand of Odang DK by Farmer's Daughter Fibers in like Pretty Shield, I think. And that's what is giving me this. So far so good. I mean, it's just ribbing right now. I think it'll be nice to kind of have a pretty simple, just raglan sweater on the needles, to just relax with. So yeah, that will be that. And you might remember this color because I did a test knit with it, but I never finished that test knit. So I think I'm gonna frog it and then just use it for this sweater. Or what I might do is just ball up the non-knit up yarn first and then see what I need. If I need to frog the sweater, then I will. But yeah, that's all I have so far. I think I have like an inch or so, and I need 4 inches before I think I fold the collar and then I start the raglan. But yeah, it is kind of lanolin-y or like spinning oil. I'm not sure which one. Oh, I guess it wouldn't have spinning oil in it because it's not a spun yarn. So it's kind of lanolin-y, but I like it. And I think having the like silk core / other yarn to hold with the knitted in, it has made it a little bit easier to knit with. So tip for anyone who's knitting with unspun yarn, maybe hold it with a strand of something that's like not easily breakable. But yeah, that is the next whip that I am working on. And the last one is, let me put this one away, is something for the baby. And I think I'm in the middle of a row. I am in the middle of a row. But it'll kind of give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like. And so you can see there's a little hood. I am knitting the Selma Sleep Suit by Petite Knit for the baby. I'm knitting size 3 to 6 months. And yeah, pretty happy with it so far. I finished the hood last night. And I am starting to work on the yoke. I put in the raglan increases for this one, or this side, and I didn't have any markers with me. So I'll be doing that on the other side. The yarn that I'm knitting it in is Lion brand, like Wool Ease. I think it's like Cherry Heather or something. I can't remember, but I have 3 skeins of it. I might need to get a 4th, but that should be fine. And yeah, pretty happy. It's been pretty mindless because it's just a garter stitch project. And I did have to go up in needle size. So it calls for a US 6 and I'm using a US 7 to get gauge. And yeah, hopefully it works out well. So that is the last one that I've been actively working on. All right, and we can go ahead and get into my acquisitions. I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, and I went to Yarn Centric with some friends, and then went to Maryland Sheep and Wool with some friends. And in comparison to last year's haul, this was definitely a lot more tame because I kept on thinking about all the stuff that I got last year that I have yet to use. Or have minimally used. So we'll just kind of quickly go over all the acquisitions that I got a few weeks ago. So I know a couple of my friends have liked Tammy Casey bags, and she was at Yarn Centric, and I decided to get one of her bags. And yeah, that's really it. We went through her booth, and this one just really stuck out to me. It kind of reminded me of like strawberries or something. I guess like I'm in a strawberry mood. But yeah, very happy with this purchase, and it's a bigger bag. And I don't have a lot of bigger bags, so this will be nice for some like larger projects. Not that I'll be knitting too many of those soon. All right, and then this one I saw and was just very obsessed with it. A little doggy. It was at Lemonwood. They had a stand for their like cake holder things. I don't know what they're called. And they also had some bags. So I decided to grab a bag. And it wasn't too horribly priced. So I thought, why not? And then we got some souvenirs from, or I guess my husband got some souvenirs for me from Maryland Sheep and Wool. The first one is, as I was saying, how I have little project bags. He got me a little project bag. I'm very happy with it. it'll be really good for like socks or hat or something, or just like a baby project. So that was very sweet of him. And he also got a little baby shirt, so that was fun. So hopefully she'll be able to wear it in the next couple of years and be able to rep some gear. So that's the like swag that we got from Maryland Sheep and Wool. But I didn't really get like a lot of stuff. Wee Ones always has like their like marker of the festival, and this year was this little sheep. It's like a black face velvet. I don't know how to pronounce it, but whatever the sheep of the year at Maryland Sheep and Wool was, this is that. And it has a little like black-eyed Susan on the top of it. So I got one of those, and then she had a set of these little like lobsters. So I got a set of lobsters, and I always like getting her stuff. It's kind of like an easy, like small purchase that I know I'll use. And then this kind of came undone, but I went to Avalon Spring Farms and got this skein of yarn for the baby to like maybe knit like a onesie or a sweater or something out of it. The color is Q and Culian 040425. Maybe that's the dye lot. Yeah, that's the dye lot. And it's about 4 ounces, 555 yards, superwash merino. So this will be it's like kind of a Barney pink, but it's really fun. Just like a nice sweater. So pretty happy with that one. And then the last purchase was kind of spur of the moment a little bit, but I got a pair of Brick House needles from Brick House Fiber Arts. I'll be honest, I don't know who they are, and I didn't really see their booth that much. Like it didn't like stand out to me when I was walking by. But we were waiting to pick up my submissions of Maryland Sheep and Wool, and wanted to try them out. They're also hexagonal needles, kind of like the Indian Lake Fiber Arts, but these ones are metal instead of wood. So I wanted to try them out, and they were really nice. So I just got a pair for socks. So we'll see. So far I like them. I tried them out before I bought them. Yeah, I just got a size 1, 9-inch circular. But yeah, that's really all the things from the past few months. I guess I can chat about Maryland Sheep and Wool. I went with some friends and saw some friends that we didn't like necessarily coordinate to see. And I submitted 3 things. I submitted my cowl, I submitted a skein of yarn, and a pair of socks. My colorwork socks, and all of them placed, so that was really cool. And Natalie from Nitty Natty was there, and hung out with her a little bit and kind of showed her around the like exhibition like entry area, and that was really cool and fun to see and hang out with her and Kent. And yeah, that's really about it. We watched the dogs, we saw the sheep, just did the Maryland Sheep and Wool things, hung out with the Boy Scouts in their lamb sausages, and got some sheepsicles. It did rain pretty heavily on the first day, which was crazy. Did not expect it. It was like beautiful all day, and then just like a couple hours before the festival closed for the day, it just came down for like 30 to 40 minutes and started hailing. Luckily we were inside the like barn where the sheepsicles and like the food was, so we were safe, even though water started coming into the barn through like a side door, but it was exciting. Outside of that, it's pretty uneventful. Maryland sheep and wool, nothing crazy. So hopefully I can be a little bit more consistent with my videos, maybe every other week now, depending on what I've been working on. But otherwise, everything that I have talked about will be down below. All of my Instagram, Ravelry, project pages, anyone that I've talked about in this video will be down there. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.